1, 2, 3. Set up, man. You already know.
All right, man. Have some fun.
Jets on 3. 1, 2, 3. Jets.
It's week 8 of the NFL season. A beautiful fall day for Jets Bengals at MetLife Stadium. Elijah Moore, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Jamison Crowder entering MetLife for the matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals, the surging Cincinnati Bengals, who of course wear orange and black, but the Jets are trying to take home a victory here on Halloween in front of their home fans. And actually, as we get going here on Pregame Central, presented by Uber Eats, we were just told that Jack Sparrow actually entering the building as well.
Captain Jack.
Hey, Captain Jack. And I'll tell you what, it is a special festive atmosphere because we decided to bring Anthony Beck and Eric Coleman inside the MGM studio. The gang is all here. Fellas, no outfits though, huh?
No outfits. I mean, the decor's nice on the table.
Beautiful.
I'll go with that. I mean, the pumpkin, we got the helmet with the skeleton. I figured there was going to be, I wanted candy in there for me, but we didn't get any candy. But that's okay. We got eye candy to watch this great game today.
E, what was your favorite outfit growing up?
My favorite outfit, I used to be Dracula. It was like 3 years in a row I was Dracula. I have no idea why. I think I just like those teeth with the fake blood.
Okay, the Jets warming up there on the field right now. We just saw Dan Feeney with the mullet before, Elijah Vera Tucker. A big one today because the Cincinnati Bengals in an unprecedented position for them. 5-2 coming off a monstrous victory over the Baltimore Ravens last week, 41-17. The Jets, conversely, obviously in bounce-back mode. Mike White gets his first NFL start. This has to be an awfully emotional moment for him building the kickoff.
Well, there's a couple emotions, right? You're excited because you get an opportunity, as a backup guy or, a guy who was on practice squad in 2009 when he came into the league with the Cowboys. You're thinking, how do you get a chance? How do you break yourself into the league? And you never want to get in by injury, but that's how guys usually get on the field. Is it a unique opportunity? Yes, because, look, the Bengals are a rising team. They're playing well, but, they don't have that winning culture yet. They're trying to build it. They're growing it this year. So, maybe he's stepping in to an opportunity that's really good. He's going to have a full amp of weapons in front of him. He's going to have offensive line that's going to clearly be keyed in to try to make it successful because he's not going to be able to do it by himself. And the play caller today has to be smart with him and make sure they put him in positive situations so that he can build and get some type of a rhythm and just be sound. That's all you have to do. Just get the ball and distribute it out, and you can be successful.
So, Eric, let's stay right there with Mike White. How advantageous is it going to be for him taking all those first-team reps at practice this week? Because for every week he had been in the National Football League prior to this one, he was either the scout team quarterback or the backup.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge for him. Getting that relationship, getting into the rhythm of calling the plays, running the offense, motion, all those things that you don't get to do while you're doing a scout team. It's going to be great for him. But ultimately for him, I think this is a great position to be in. He can just go in. There's nothing to lose. He can just go out there and just let it go. Yeah. Let it go. Show his talents. He's got, like as you said, Anthony, he has the talent around him. The offensive line has been playing much better, and I think that it's just going to be up to him to make the throws.
They got a full week of practice too. He just got thrown into the game, last time where, you're just trying to figure it out. Now he got the majority of those reps.
Tough break for White in the offense, though. Corey Davis goes down with a hip injury Thursday at practice, and he's suddenly doubtful. Guys, the Jets offensively so far, 9 touchdowns. Corey Davis has accounted for 4 of those, Anthony.
It's kind of a big deal, right? I mean, he's kind of a guy that can take the top off of the defense a little bit. He's a guy that can help open up other receivers, and he's a speed threat. So if you don't have him, you have other players that can do it. But I think guys like Elijah Moore and Crowder now get an opportunity to kind of work off each other, work some concepts, and really get some other shit. Cole is a guy that has had some splash catches. He's living up to that big yards per catch average, but maybe he can get some more intermediate catches, some other routes where he can catch and run with the football as well. Hey, and don't forget about the backs. They're sometimes the best friend of a quarterback as well.
We saw that last week, right?
Check it down. I mean, it is what it is, man. You know, those guys can turn a 3-yard catch into a 10, 15, 20-yard gain sometimes.
You are watching Pregame Central presented by Uber Eats. Eric Allen here in studio with Anthony Becht and Eric Coleman. The Jets getting warmed up right now at MetLife Stadium. Couldn't ask for a better day. October 31st, it is Halloween. It was kind of a fright-filled afternoon for the Jets last week, though, against the Patriots. The big thing defensively, they got to limit the explosives. That has been something talked about all year around here. Last week, of course, the Patriots, 12 plays of 20-plus yards, including 11 in the pass game.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot give up explosive plays. You know, you talk about being a defensive back, you want to make sure that you play everything from the top down. You want to be aggressive on all the intermediate routes, but you can't let people run behind you, free runners, especially when you talk about Jamar Chase, a guy who's coming off a 8-catch, 201-yard game. He's a big play machine. They thrive off the big plays. If there's anyone on this Cincinnati offense that you have to slow down and can't allow to kill you with the big plays, it's Jamar Chase. He and Joe Burrow have the relationship from LSU. They've continued that into the NFL. You can't let him be the guy that beats you deep.
Would you echo those sentiments? Is it easy to say, hey, Jets are going to bracket him and they got to go man other places, make other people beat you?
No, because C.J. Azuma, the tight end, has really kind of sparked out and become a player. He'll be a guy that's going to be challenging the safeties and the eyes of the linebackers when it's that play-action game going on. And Joe Burrow is very refined for a young quarterback. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence. He's coming off a massive injury with his knee, and he's bounced back and looked as if, nothing's happened. So, to have that confidence coming off an injury, to have the confidence in a line that, quite frankly, to me is not a great strength for the Bengals, but they've been running the ball effectively with the quarterback as well, and it's really opened some things up. I think the one thing that I'm looking for this game is the defensive line needs to show up, right? They got to come out and find a way to get to the quarterback or disrupt. I think one sack since that huge big sack game against the Titans, that's not a problem, but it has to become a favorable problem versus the Bengals today, because if not, you're talking about now you're letting them do more with their offensive playmakers that they have.
Yeah, and Anthony, you kind of touched on it, the run game. The Jets have to stop the run game early. They can't let Mixon run over the field because that opens up that play action, big shot opportunity. So if you can get the run stopped early, force them to be in the position where they have to throw, it makes it so much easier for a safety to stay deep and not have to continue to creep up to stop the run.
I'm getting hungry out here because Anthony's already talking about candy. But Uber Eats is the official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Is delivering game day deals all season. Order now with your Uber Eats app. Let's go out to MetLife Stadium right now. Ethan, we didn't know we were going to have you, but it looks like it is indeed you, so that is great news. The Jets will be without rookie quarterback Zach Wilson today. We know that. PCL sprain, 2 to 4 weeks. Hopefully he's back sooner than later. But is the quarterback of the Jets defense ready to roll?
Yes, he is, EA. C.J. Mosley said it himself earlier this week that he expects to play, and Robert Saleh also said that he expects C.J. Mosley to play, which is great news for the Jets because before he got hurt, he was averaging 9 tackles per game. That ranked 9th in the NFL. But more than that, EA, this linebacker position, which was so depleted last week against the Patriots, is getting reinforcements. Quincy Williams out of the concussion protocol. He will play against the Bengals today, so it seems. And then maybe the biggest news in terms of linebackers is that Jared Davis, the Jets free agent acquisition, who has not played so far this season. Remember, he hurt his ankle against the Packers in the preseason game. He was activated off of injured reserve yesterday, and what the Jets really like about Davis is his size and his speed at that position. Former first-round pick in 2017 out of Florida, and what Jared Davis has to offer outside of size and speed, Marcus May said he's already treating guys, or he's already commanding the huddle after returning to practice earlier this week. So I'm really excited to see what that linebackers room finally looks like, fully healthy with C.J. Mosley and Jared Davis in a couple hours, EA.
All right, Ethan, I got to follow up here. Eric Coleman was gritting this morning, and Washington State won on Saturday. Kind of a mixed bag for Anthony Becht. His son, of course, is going to be playing quarterback at Iowa State. Iowa State lost to his alma mater, West Virginia, and my University of Florida Gators got to hand it to them in a game that Anthony actually called yesterday on Westwood 1. Georgia beat them pretty handily. How did your Syracuse Orange fare on Saturday?
Syracuse won. I mean, this is like the opposite of all in or not today, which we'll get to later. I'm the one that actually won. And,
That's a bad word from you.
I had my moments where I was a little skeptic of if they'd actually pull out the victory. Syracuse won. Sean Tucker, the running back, went over 100 yards, actually went over 200 yards, first time in his career. And Syracuse got the win.
Over
one
whom?
game away from going bowling.
Over whom?
Boston College.
Okay, over
That's
the
kind of a big win.
over the BC
But
Eagles.
he's dropping names nobody knows. I mean, nobody knows Syracuse football players right now. I mean, come on.
You don't know
running
Sean
back's good.
Tucker. Come on.
Ethan,
Come on. You don't know Sean Tucker? What's going on here?
I've actually heard of him.
He's
a
an
pretty good
outstanding running back. But, Ethan, how about from a transaction perspective? The Jets had a lot of names out there yesterday. What jumped out to you?
Well, we know about the Jared Davis move. Jared Wilson was released, but Noah Dawkins gets called up, part of that replenishing of the linebackers. And then really the two guys that stand out are the practice squad guys who were elevated for today's game, mainly the quarterback, Josh Johnson. And we got the sense that Joe Flacco would probably be inactive for today's game. Elevating Josh Johnson makes that seem even more likely. We'll find out the full inactives a little later on. And then also the Jets called up Jabari Zuniga, the third-round pick from last season. Remember, he was a final cut, then gets added to the practice squad. Joe Douglas said, by no means are they giving up on Jabari, and he'll have a shot today with Bryce Huff out of the mix against the Bengals, EA.
There you go. You ended on a great note. Ending with the Gator. I like that, Ethan. We'll check in with you here in a little bit. Cincinnati Bengals getting warmed up on their side of the field. One of the brighter young players in the National Football League right there. Eric, how much will Mosley's impact be felt today? As far as him coming back and being central command of that defense, because the Patriots really exposed that matchup last week.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a great impact. Having him be at the center of the defense, he's the play caller. He gets the defensive line lined up. He is the eyes for that defensive line, getting them adjusted, telling them the strength of the defense, and he's a physical imposer. He sets the tone physically. He covers sideline to sideline, and just the overall leader for this defense. So it's going to be a big advantage to have C.J. Mosley back in the fold today, along with Jared Davis.
Yeah, and you think about all those weapons the Bengals have, AB. That includes Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I mean, and P. Ryan as well. They got a mixture of players that can really do some damage. The tight end, like I spoke about as well, is good. So really the weakness of this team is the offensive line. And, they played better, but I think, this defensive line last couple games has to step up and just play better as a unit. I think in particularly there's been some individual performances that have been solid, but you have to start off this game and put pressure on Barrow early on.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask both of you guys, Jamar Chase, why has he unlocked the offense of the Bengals? That's how Robert Saleh, I think, aptly described it, was that he kind of changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, he's an amazing route runner. Intermediate routes, vertical routes, and when he gets in the ball, when he gets the ball in his hand, he's very electric. And they've been doing a great job of getting him in one-on-one situation, finding holes in zone, just letting him show his ability. Much like when you talk about the Jets, Elijah Moore, a guy who you watch on film, when he gets the ball, he can be electric. I think if the Jets have an opportunity to get the ball to Elijah Moore, he'll show some of his talents as well. But Jamar Chase is just a special talent and is really showing out this season.
Anthony, a great point there. I just don't think that you can say, hey, listen, we're going to take away down the field against Chase, because that's what the Ravens tried to do last week. And he exposed them, started breaking tackles, and he also showed what a tremendous route tree he has. He can run anything.
He can. No, he's very seasoned. People forget he sat out last season, and normally I'm against that, but he clearly was training and working hard on his craft, and he he even mentioned, I remember in an interview talking about, like, I needed to learn how to run routes more refined, better, and he definitely capitalized that over that time that he sat out, and also remember, folks, this is not like a first-year experience between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. These guys won a national championship together. They were, breaking all kinds of records on the field. And you got to think, some of the plays that they ran together that they're comfortable with were some of the plays that LSU ran as well. So, these guys are walking on the field almost like veterans to this offense and this system. and it's really shown up. He's been an incredible talent. And you talked about, why more success too with some of the deep ball. Yeah, you want to take that away, but their running game has been pretty good. I think 100-plus yards rushing last week against the Ravens. Just enough, right, to kind of get the safeties kind of in the box a little bit, maybe get the corners or linebackers' eyes in there, little flash action to the running back. That's all it takes to get guys open.
Jets wearing their stealth black uniforms today. Hey, Jets fans, to learn how to make some epic game day eats with Mekhi Becton, go to madeforjetswatching.com and download the recipe cards for amazing dishes like Pepsi glazed ribs. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Speaking of made for watching, let's get back to the stadium and check in with our guy, Chuck Lott.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's Chuck Lott out here in the island presented by Uber Eats. Now, I'm sure you're wondering where my costume is. My son was frozen. I was supposed to be Mr. Incredible, but it's blackout day in the stadium, so I'm all black out today. But my man Chris over here has done all of the pumpkins that you will see. So I want to ask him a few questions. Chris, real quick, how long have you been pumpkin carving? Seriously?
I've been carving for over 15 years.
15 years. I can barely draw a straight line. How long did it take you to do the Jets logo?
It took 1 or 2 hours.
1 or 2 hours? Okay. We're not even going to ask you about the Bengals logo. Fans, my man Chris here has all the pumpkins that you're going to see in the stadium. Make sure you get your tickets to MetLife. If you're not here right now, let's go Jets.
Where's the sledgehammer for Chuck Lott so he can smash that Bengals
you gotta
pumpkin out there? That would have been a great feature just to have that on there. At least he was blocking it at the end.
Anthony's ready for the sledgehammer. This guy is in a Freddy Krueger type of movie.
He spent 2 hours carving the Bengals. Don't worry about the Bengals. Just get the Jet stuff going on.
You are watching Pregame Central, presented by Uber Eats. Eric Allen alongside Anthony Becht and Eric Coleman inside the BetMGM studio. It is time for our matchups to watch. Let's go to the end of the table here. Eric Coleman.
Well, I talked about him earlier, and he's the focal point of this offense now. Jamar Chase versus the defensive backs of the New York Jets. Bryce Hall, all these young players, Marcus May, they're going to have to play with depth. The linebackers are going to have to be disciplined underneath, but ultimately it's going to be a collective approach to stopping this fantastic wide receiver in Jamar Chase.
Joe Burrow had a career-high 416 yards passing last week, plus 3 touchdowns versus the Ravens, of course. Chase with the 201 receiving yards. I'll tell you what, there's Ty Johnson getting warmed up here. It really helped Mike White out in his first professional start if you do have some balance offensively. Watch Bryce Hall today as far as your matchup to watch, Eric, because 6 pass defenses the last couple of weeks, continues to get his hands on footballs. The Jets looking for that elusive first interception of the year. Anthony, it's time for your matchup to watch.
Yeah, well, clearly I want to talk about Mike White, but it's more big picture because none of these defensive players for Cincinnati know much about him. So they're all going to figure him out. So him versus the defense. And each level has a priority player to worry about, right? Up front, you had Hubbard and Hendrickson on the edges. They're going to bring pass rush. You have Logan Wilson's become a very good sideline-to-sideline linebacker with instincts. And on the back end, 2 very good safeties. I think one of the better combination safeties, Jesse Bates and Von Bell. These guys understand football. They're very aggressive. They can play the pass. They can play the run. So, look, Mike's got to do really good, number one, when he's passing with his eyes. If he's going downfield, he's got to be able to draw defenders a certain way and trust his receivers getting open, and he has to protect the football. All right, sometimes it's okay to take a sack. Sometimes it's okay to, scramble and get 3 yards and live to see another play. A lot to think about, too, when you're, coming from getting the play, delivering it to the players, get a pre-snap read, catch the snap, and then, by the way, defensive coordinator is going to be, shuffling defenders after and post-snap as well. So it's a lot of pressure, but again, just stay calm, do your part, and help him offensively with the play calling.
Yeah, another thing to think about is we watch Mike White warm up prior to his first professional start. Is Jets are a young team. They played 4 road games so far this season, 2 home games. You make the argument that for wide portions or long portions of that game against the Patriots, they were the better team. Turnovers did them in. And then they took down the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Titans are doing some damage themselves the last couple weeks. For my matchup to watch, I'm going to go to George Fant, the Jets' veteran left tackle who started the year at right tackle, came in for Mekhi Becton when he went down in week 1. And he's done a really fine job for the Jets on the outside. And Anthony just mentioned Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson, former New Orleans Saint, comes in for the Bengals this year. Remember, everything's tied together in the National Football League. Of course, the Jets signed Carl Lawson in free agency, anticipating that he's going to be the big edge presence for them. Unfortunately, he went down in the preseason. Hendrickson signs with the Bengals, and he has 6.5 sacks this year. Anthony, have you been impressed with their pressure? Because last season, the Bengals just 17 sacks. This year, they've had 19 sacks, and they had 5 of Lamar Jackson last week.
Yeah, Hendrickson is just nonstop motor. Hubbard's the same way. These guys give you extreme effort. They're overachievers, and they are premier pass rushers, especially Hendrickson. I mean, people just, he's not athletic enough or this or that. Man, the guy can get after you. I've watched him during his Saints for many years really excel himself to become a very good premium pass rusher, and he got paid because of it. So, he's a problem, but you're right. I mean, listen, George Fant's a problem too. I mean, right? He's a guy that can get it done. He can protect Morgan as well. I mean, so both of those guys feel good about what they're doing, and they're very athletic as well. It's a good matchup. It's a good test, and I think for my money, I try to run right out both of those guys and try to take some opportunities there to run the ball and make them a little bit less, off the ball fast pass rushers today. Kind of take them off a step or two in the run game.
Yeah, offensive line getting warmed up right now. Just a second ago, we saw George Fant. He'll be matched up a lot of the time today with the aforementioned Trey Hendrickson. There is C.J. Mosley. He's looking fit and ready to roll. The Jets need their guy back in the lineup. After we get finished here, you can head over to CBS 2 for Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. And then after Jets Bengals, make sure you tune into Jets Overtime because the gang will be right here in studio. We'll be presented by Nissan, and we'll run it back. And then finally, SNY is going to have you covered both pregame and postgame. Loaded Jets action today on Halloween. Let's hear from the Jets head coach right now, Robert Saleh.
Is there a lesson here from what you see from the Cincinnati Bengals? Last year, I believe they started 1-5-1. I think they were 2-10-1 at one point. Now, last week, they just took down the Baltimore Ravens with 5-2, and people are talking about, hey, maybe they're one of the stronger teams in the AFC.
Yeah, they're, it's the model. You look at their first year, they were 2-14. Second year, they won 4 games. Third year, you accumulate, you install your systems. The players start understanding the systems. Everybody has a comfort within the system, so you can expand and do things that are outside the system when you're on the football field because you're so tied to it. And they've done a really, really nice job staying strong, staying not necessarily patient, more urgent with regards to bringing in the players that they've brought in. Jamar Chase has unlocked everything for them. It's going to be a tremendous challenge, but it is it's a model in the league. You install your systems, you work your systems, you create your identity, and I feel like that's where we are right now in terms of we've got a really, really cool group of guys, and it's a very, very young group of guys, and it's obviously a model of something to look at.
That's Summer Robert Saleh. If you are viewing locally, head over to CBS 2 following our show here. It's Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. That airs at 11:30. You're watching Pregame Central presented by Uber Eats. Eric Allen alongside Anthony Beck and Eric Coleman. Before we get into our favorite segment of the show, which is All In or Not today, what do you think about Saleh talking about the Bengals being the model here? That was a team that started 2-10-1 last year.
Well, the model's good, but let's be honest. It starts with a quarterback, right? I mean, Joe Burrow has made this team. He made them good, decent last year and competitive. It just guys weren't up to his standard yet, which is weird because you always try to raise the level of standard to the staff and the coaches, but he set the bar his rookie year, and he's really stood out. So the model is that. The Jets now have a rookie quarterback that they want that model to kind of fit around, and it's going to be on Zach Wilson to kind of bring this team together, put it on his shoulders, and become the player that everybody thinks and he should be, and that's going to take a little time. So those are the things that you need to kind of build, and then you add those pieces. The organization adds the pieces around the Jamar Chases and the tight ends and the line and the defensive players. Build something there, and I think we saw that early on in the season with the full defense set with all those guys on the field, all the starters. It's a pretty good defense this year that started the season. It's a little different now. And then offensively, you know, if you have all your pieces there, everyone's healthy, and then, of course, the quarterback continues to develop. Again, that's your own model. That's the model that is successful. Plus, you got all those draft picks in this year's draft coming up. So a lot of positive things for the future. But right now, you got to figure out how to get better, how to do some things. It's early in the season. You still have a chance to finish strong.
Yeah, right now it's the Mike White show. Zach Wilson will be out for 2 to 4 weeks with his PCL sprain, and hopefully it's closer to 2 than 4. But it is time for our favorite segment on Pregame Central. Of course, that is All In or Not Today. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. It's getting tight, Eric Coleman. Where is that leaderboard? They told me they're going to bring up the leaderboard.
You want to see it because...
Oh, there!
Yeah.
You've been joined at the top.
0-6 is just, come on.
Anthony's sitting there right at 500, and then Ethan Greenberg 0-6. Ethan, don't worry, we'll get to you. We'll get to you in a few moments. I'm not too concerned about you just yet. Eric, since you are a co-leader, you can start. The Jets have yet to score in the first quarter. The green and white will score in the first quarter today against the Bengals. All in or not today?
You like to figure these things out with your head and not your heart. I'm going with my head. I'm going all in today. Mike LaFleur is going to put together a great game plan. The first 15, Mike White's going to lead us to the first quarter touchdown of the season.
Oh, my God. So you said you were going with your head and not your heart. So you don't want the Jets to score in the first quarter.
No, they're going. They scored. Listen, you got to change. You got to change things up. You got to do that self-evaluation. I think today is the day. They're going to mix it up, do something they haven't done during the season, and it's going to lead to a touchdown.
Anthony, we're watching Mike White right now. He had a touchdown pass on his first career pass in the National Football League that went to Corey Davis. No Corey Davis in the lineup today. All in or not today, Anthony, Mike White will have at least 2 pass touchdowns against the Bengals.
I'm going to not today. And the reason why I say not today is because he's got to have one for sure, but a supporting cast around him would be nice, in particular the running backs, right? I'd like to see him get down in the red zone because of him and then mash the ball in there with a couple running backs scoring touchdowns with the run game. And you know what? Wouldn't hurt us if we got some special teams scores as well, not just field goals. Maybe we can break a couple runs in the kickoff return and the punt return department, and maybe even one breaks big, but shorten the field and help him be in a position. But one for sure. I think 2's asking a lot for his first start. Be monumental if he did, though.
Okay, we spent a lot of this program talking about Jamar Chase. He's taken the NFL by storm so far his rookie season. He's averaging 108 yards receiving per game. Jamar Chase, this is mine, will have at least 108 yards receiving today. Not today. Listen, I'm telling you right now, the defensive game plan is take him away, force those other guys, and they are very good receivers, but Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, they got to beat you. The Jets got to hold up in man coverage other spots. Where's Ethan Greenberg? Is Ethan Greenberg? Oh, there he is. Okay.
What's up, Ethan?
Ethan, how you feeling this morning?
I don't know. I mean, I feel fine.
Okay.
I'm in a slump. I'm in a big slump in a big way. So
all right,
let's ride.
Okay, before we get to your pick, I have to caution viewers at home. This is typically family-oriented programming, but if the kids are around, you might want to cover their ears and cover their eyes, because what you're about to see is nothing less than horrifying.
I dread this moment at every show, and it causes me a little too much stress every time. Well, I'm going to say all in for Ty Johnson. See, I'm going all in. I'm going all in. I'm going to go not today. I'm going to go after going not today last week, and the Jets won. I'm going to go all in. I got 2 words. All in. I am all in on this one.
I don't know what to say, Ethan.
Today the Jets will play football. I'm all in on that.
Wow.
I think Ethan's doing this on purpose because he's getting some really good pub here on our show. I mean, that was a nice minute segment of all Ethan Greenberg. I mean, hey, I see your angle now. I see what you're doing.
If I were to incorrectly predict, but do it in a way where I did it correctly, I mean, I would be impressed with myself. So you're giving me credit here, Anthony. I appreciate it. You're basically saying I've gotten everything right, but in the wrong way.
I'm laughing. I don't know what he said, but I'm definitely laughing at whatever he said. I'm sure it was funny.
Yeah, I know. It is that time of the show that everybody's been waiting for, and I'm not talking about inactives. Ethan Greenberg is up. He remains winless on the season. The Cincinnati Bengals will hold the New York Jets to 18 points or less. We picked 18 because that's what they're allowing opponents this season to, on average. Ethan, the floor is yours. Make it quick, brother.
Okay. I'm going to say, for no reason other than reverse psychology, I'm going all in on that, because if you think about the Titans, I said that the Jets wouldn't have 7 sacks, that they wouldn't have 3. They had 7. The Jets won. I'm going all in the reverse psychology. I feel like maybe it's a win-win situation for me.
He's making no
Let's try
sense
it.
now. He's making no sense.
I pray the streak.
Just
pray
say the
streak
Bengals
continues.
are going to win the game all in, and you're guaranteed you'll be wrong. That's what it is, right?
Grant.
I can't wait
till
till the Jets have at least 14 points in the first quarter, and Ethan doesn't know what to think. Ethan, take us away here. Anthony, Eric Coleman, and I will be back for Jets Overtime, but we'll be checking in with you. You give us the inactives. Remember, for those locally, flip over to CBS 2 after Ethan gives us those final inactives. We'll be back here for Jets Overtime.
All right, so here are the inactives. Tevin Coleman, we expected that. Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, Corey Davis, Trayvon Wesco, Jonathan Marshall, and Bryce Huff. Those are the inactives for today's game against the Bengals.